Hello, it is on this day, June 10th, 2023, that we are doing a general update video because it has been a while. I do have some things to talk about, but I mostly also want to emphasize what I haven't been talking about, like what I want to talk about but haven't had the opportunity to. So we will address all of that in this video, maybe a few side comments towards the end just to make it a little bit longer. But that is the majority of the purpose of the video today. But before we get started, I just want to say Happy Pride Month. I have been celebrating Pride Month on Twitch, but I realize that not most people on my YouTube channels recognize that I stream on Twitch. I do stream on Twitch. That's where I've been doing my Happy Pride stuff. I've mostly just been playing video games, as I do. However, just to say it on here, just so everyone's aware, Happy Pride Month. It's been very fun so far. We will get into what all I've done in the update section, but before we get to the update section, we're going to talk about why I haven't updated. So, there are two subjects that I've been waiting to talk about for months now. Ever since my last video, I've been planning to do a video on one of the two things, and then a little bit later I planned the second thing. Before I can do those videos though, I need certain things to happen in my life, and those things, the events that I'm waiting for, got pushed back themselves. One of them I intended to have the event happen 3 times now, but it got delayed twice because people got sick and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to do the videos on those topics because I still have things I need to do in real life before I can cover talking about them, just in case. So hopefully very soon, at least one of those should happen, because if it doesn't happen soon, then that would be unfortunate. And then I can do a video on that subject. I'm trying to not give it away because, again, I have my reasons. My family has this YouTube channel, so I do have to filter what I talk about until they are updated, and then I can talk about it. So that's what I'm waiting for. Once that is covered though, hopefully I'll be able to do a video on that subject matter and get the ball rolling again on topics I want to talk about. And then the second one, I don't know when that'll happen, but at some point we'll have another conversation of a similar nature. Okay? That's probably the biggest reason. It's because the two things I've been wanting to talk about multiple times, I thought I was going to be able to, and then it got postponed. And at this point, I can't keep waiting for it to happen. I need to do an update because it's been so long now. The two other reasons is A, I moved. I don't know if you noticed, this is not my apartment. This is not my room at my parents' house. I am living in the city, by myself. And I'm living under some people that allowed me to rent. So I moved. I now drive. I have work every day. That's the third thing. I'm working a full-time job. And at the job, I love it. Mostly. I mostly love it, except for tech problems. And it's been very nice to meet people and get to like explore my industry a little bit. However, every time I come home, I am tired. Like, I'm working 9-hour days. I am tired when I get back. And the main thing is that I spend most of my work day sitting at my desk, right? So when I come home, what I don't want to do is sit at my desk more, like I am right now. And so oftentimes I'll just lay in bed, or like I'll take the dogs for a walk or something like that. But I really haven't been on my home computer at all, just because I'm so tired of work. From work. I'm tired after I get home from work. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's most of why I haven't been doing any updates, is because the things I want to update about, I haven't had the opportunity to yet. Hopefully I will soon. I moved, so there's a lot of things going on. I'm exploring the area. I'm trying to meet new people. And then also I have a full-time job and I'm getting tired when I get home. And therefore, I don't have the energy to do things like this as much as I would like to. those are the main big three things. There is one more caveat where there is something I could update about. This is my segue. There is something I could update about, but I don't think I have permission to, and that's why I'm not risking it. I'm just not making a video on it. Now, to clarify what that one thing is, jumping into a general update on where I am with my life. I moved to a new city. I went to Pride in this city, and I actually walked in the parade with my company, which was very interesting. It's my first time walking in the parade. Last time I only watched the parade. So I walked in the parade. I didn't take any photos the whole time. Not a single photo of the parade, not a single photo of Pride Fest afterward, nothing. And part of it's because the sun was in my way, part of it was because I didn't have the consent of my peers, my fellow employees, to take photos, and part of it was because my phone battery, I was trying to save my phone battery because I'm driving and I need to know the directions to get home. So I didn't take any photos. My friend did take photos, but I'm pretty sure I don't have permission to share those. And so because of all that, I can't really do a video saying like, look, it's me at Pride. But I will say, like, just a general update. It's fantastic. It's very interesting. It was hot. It was so hot. The binder sweat was extreme. There are people on the side who were like spraying sunscreen on the people who were walking, which is very nice. Love that. And then there were people who were like dumping water onto us from the side and stuff like that. So very awesome, very nice, and everyone was just generally happy. There was a lot of cheering. There was only one rude, phobic person to the side, and really, he only really bothered us on the way to the parade, because by the time we were walking past him during the parade, couldn't hear him. Like, he had a megaphone and you couldn't hear him because everyone was just cheering so much. So, worked out in the end. And yeah, I got to walk with the other trans people from my company, and you can really feel the community. Like, I only met them a few weeks ago, but I can tell that they are a very tight-knit group, and tightly knit group. Wow. I am tired. Let's drink some water. Hold on. A very tightly knit group, and I can tell that, like, if I were to bring up any issues with them, they would, like, do whatever they can to help me. So it is very nice to have that kind of environment here, now that I'm actually, for real, living by myself and having to meet everyone for the first time. So it's very reassuring. I'm going to sip some water and then we'll continue. It's actually a good thing that I'm living in the desert, because it's actually making me drink water. Drink water. Drink water. Drink water. You better be drinking water. No matter where you live, you should be drinking more water. Living out here has forced me to drink more water, which is very good for me, because I don't drink enough water. Alright, with all that said, continuing our story. So, while I've been here, I have gone to a queer barbecue, I've gone to an LGBTQ plus ice cream event, I've gone to a game night with other LGBT individuals at my work, I've gone to a dinner with other people. Like, I've gone to so many social events. This is the most LGBT social events I've been to that aren't my club. And I feel counting my club shouldn't count, because that's like a weekly thing. These are things that are put together by the locals, either the locals or people at my work. And the people at my work, it makes a lot more sense that they put events together so that they can meet up and hang out. But when it comes to the local community, I think there's one huge difference between the community here versus community back in Denver, where I usually live. Denver, all of their events are at bars. You got bar event after bar event after bar event. Like, that is most of what I can find are events at bars and clubs. And when there finally is any event that's outside a bar or club, it's usually an event I can't go to, or it's not very beginner friendly, or stuff like that. Something that you don't want to jump into because it's Denver, and if it's your like first one of those events, you gotta breathe, you gotta think things through. difference here is that so many of the events I've seen are very social. They're very, like, everyone's welcome. We're going to incorporate kids into this kind of thing. The ice cream event, for example, there were literally well over like 130 people there at one point, and this was like a 3-4 hour event. At just one point, there was like over 130 people there, and they were all just eating ice cream and talking, and I ended up talking to a couple, and then more people added the circle. We ended up with a circle of like 20 people, and we were just all chatting. It was crazy. It was crazy just how social and welcoming and like comfortable I felt there. It was literally in the middle of the street too, which in any other city would be illegal, but this city does not care. It really doesn't care. So really we're just all chilling there. At one point, 35 or 40, I want to say 35 is the most accurate number that I can think of. But like 35 of them showed up on bikes together, all 35 people just coming down the road on bikes. Some of them had like little like pride handlebars on their bikes and stuff like that, and everyone started cheering because that's the most gay awesome thing that I've seen in a while. So everyone started cheering and whooping, and then they like all parked their bikes and got their ice cream. It was crazy. This is an LGBT owned ice cream store, by the way, so like you go in the store and like you can tell all the staff are like very happy with the event too. It was fantastic. So I think that's the big difference I've noticed between here and my groups back at home, or the community social events back at home. Here they're a lot more like welcoming. They're put together a lot more. There's a bunch of flyers. There's a lot more advertising. Apparently it's posted on all kinds of social media, and the word just spread enough that many people arrived. When it comes to Denver, which again, I haven't been to one in Denver just because most of the ones I have seen are bars and clubs. I feel like we don't have as much of that stuff. We don't have like lunches and stuff like that. But here, I've had barbecues, lunches, dinners, ice cream, all kinds of stuff. So that's my opinion. That is what I'm thinking while I'm here, and I am soaking it in. I'm definitely going to a lot of those events just so I can enjoy it while I'm here. It is a little intimidating. I am scared of the city. I'm just going to say that. This city is scary. Period. Period. Don't need to add more, but I'm going to add more. I think my biggest fear is driving. Every time I'm driving, I am so terrified of hitting someone in the city, because gays can't drive, first of all, for me, in my case. I can't drive. But second of all, people in this city don't check the road. They don't check the road. They just start walking in the middle of the road. They'll just start walking, and it's the most terrifying thing. Also, red lights. Everyone runs red lights. Everyone runs red lights except me, apparently. So it's very scary driving here, and that's the one thing that's stopping me from doing more is just being scared of going out in the city and driving. Or being scared of my car being broken into. Both those things are scary. So that's my one caveat, but otherwise I am enjoying it here, and I am in one of the states that's currently safe. I'm actually in a state that wrote legislature to protect trans rights when other states are writing legislature against trans rights. So I am feeling generally safe here. And again, I have my little network that I can reach out to if there's anything wrong. Hard stop on that. I've also been feeling good in the workplace. And this is something that I think I can do a video on maybe in the next few weeks, is talking about being trans in the workplace for the first time. This is my first time I'm like really being trans in the workplace. I would say previously I wasn't. I was out. Like, everyone used he, him pronouns for me for my previous 2 jobs, both of them. But I think the difference is both of those jobs, one was either online, so it was just like meetings, or the other one, it was at my school, so I wasn't really worried. This is my first time I'm in like a full-on industry thing at a huge company. Like, this is a big company. So I think I can now confidently talk about what it's like for me so far being trans in a huge company workspace, and how I've been communicating to different employees about my pronouns. I think what's interesting and I'll bring this up in the video, but something I just want to tap on now is I've passed more than I thought I would, which mixed feelings. I mean, it is generally good. It shocks me. My mixed feeling is like, should I be passing or not? I don't know. So some mixed feelings there, but I think that is a video I can do in the coming weeks, since those other 2 videos got postponed for so long. But I am feeling pretty good about that as well. What else were we going to talk about? We have Work the World. Work the World is kind of how I've been explaining it to people who don't know what it is. I say that it's like a musical tour, but it's with drag queens. I think that's a kind of accurate description. I think it's an accurate description. Work the World will be here 1 month from now, and I do plan to go to Work the World because from everything I saw from the internet, it's 18 plus, which means I can go if it is 18 plus, and if not, I'll get turned away at the door and it'll be a funny story. So, regardless, I'm going to Work the World, hopefully in a month, and I can do a video on Work the World when I go. Can't do it yet, but I gotta go, and we'll check it out then. So I am very excited about that. I have been to some drag shows before, but usually they were drag shows put together by my school, and then I did one drag show at a club once, an 18 plus club event, and I was only there because my friend was performing. So I don't have much experience watching drag live. I've never watched like a famous queen do drag live. Carrie Colby was here last week, and I'm kind of upset that I missed her, but also doesn't matter because her event was 21 plus. Most of the drag events here are 21 plus. So that's most of why I haven't gone to one, but I am very excited to go Work the World because I should be allowed there, and then we'll see what shenanigans happen on the stage. So I am very excited for that. I have a few more general LGBT events I'll be doing locally throughout the month. I think the thing I'm keeping an eye out for is if events keep happening outside of June. We'll figure that out soon once June ends. But I'm worried that I'm going to hit July and then there'll be no events that I can find. So we will see what the deal is there. I think that's it for my... Oh, that's not it. There's one more thing for my personal update section. I realize I'm mostly just talking about the city and the events I've gone to. Let's talk about myself for a second, because that was the intent of this section. Trans identity. It is something. It is something. So, part of this will segue into the next section, but just to start off, I said that I was passing at work, and I generally feel good about that, but I definitely am having ups and downs when it comes to how I feel with my gender. I have different feelings on things. I have certain things I've been bringing up to people, and I wouldn't say I'm in a bad spot. I think I'm feeling good generally, but there's definitely these like roadblocks I keep hitting. I would say dysphoria is a little more common than it used to be, but I think that is expected for me. I know a lot of this doesn't make sense to people. Like, you expected more dysphoria? Yes, I have been expecting more dysphoria, and I think to some degree, some people may understand me when I say this. To some degree, it's actually a good sign that I'm feeling more right now because it means that I am challenging my notions. And that is part of what I'm doing, is I'm taking steps through my gender. I'm just like double checking everything in a way. I'm making sure, like, do I feel this way? Do I feel that way? What are my opinions on this now that I've sat with this for a while? So I've been walking through a lot of that stuff in my time. And because I've been doing that, sometimes dysphoria pops up. Mostly fine. The only bad dysphoria I've really gotten has either been a certain thing or it's been from people misgendering me. So not necessarily a big deal. So gender-wise, what I'm mostly doing is I'm just tapping everything, making sure everything is where it is. I've been reflecting a lot more on what I think about my gender and what I think the future for my gender is. That's been a huge ringing bell in my life recently is what next, what next, what next? What does this mean for the future? What are we going to keep doing? How do we improve this, you know? So I've had a lot of those thoughts going on recently, and I will probably do a video on some of that in the future. So that's mostly where that's at in terms of my sexualities. Bi still remains bi as far as I am aware. Definitely not pan. I've mentioned before, I kind of identify with omni, but I don't necessarily want to like dive into whether I'm bi or omni just because ace flux is already hard enough to keep track of. I don't really want to dig down and explore which one I am. And I'm definitely still ace flux, for sure. It is fluctuating, and it's kind of annoying, honestly. I still take pride in that identity. It's just annoying sometimes. I think it just switched earlier this week. I had no attraction for about a month and a half to 2 months. Like, no attraction. Attraction was gone. And I just got attraction back, but it's gray sexuality, which means that it's very weird. It's gray sexuality, which means I get attraction very randomly to very particular people, and usually I'm wondering why that person. So that's very interesting. It's kind of like a puzzle for me sometimes, I will say. Like, it's kind of a little fun, where I kind of put the pieces together of like, okay, I finally felt attraction. Let's do an investigation on why I feel it. What is it about this person that stands out? What kind of attractions do I feel? And like walk through it. It is interesting. I think one of the things I have embraced in the past few months is like that ability to think that way. I think that a lot of people who are allo, straight, maybe even cis, have a very direct way of tackling their attraction, and you know, they just say like, I'm attracted to someone, I'm not attracted to someone. There isn't much nuance to it. What I've been thinking to myself is that I have the ability to perceive a lot of nuance in what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling it, and how I could possibly address it. I'm not going to, but how could I theoretically address this attraction kind of thing. So I think it's very interesting. And it's not saying that other people don't have that ability. I mean, they don't do it because they don't have a need to. Meanwhile, this is something I have the ability to do because I have a need to do it. So it doesn't mean that either side is bad or better or anything like that. It's just a difference in how you experience your life. In my opinion, feel free to argue with me if you have any counterpoints on that. But that is how I've been viewing it recently. So it makes me feel more confident and more content with my identity, and also, I don't know, it puts a spin on like positivity to it, and it kind of gives like a moral to the story. Like, it allows me, how do I word this? Hold on. I feel the same way with my trans identity. Here's how I'll explain it. Sometimes, like before, I would have said like to be a trans man, it would have been a lot of masculinity. But now I'm learning that it's kind of an embrace of masculinity and femininity, depending on the person. There are some trans men that are very masculine, and there isn't much femininity. But there are other trans men who I'm starting to think I'm more aligned with, where they are transgender and they have some masculinity, but they also keep a lot of their femininity. That's something that I've been thinking through recently. And I think that is an ability to balance both skills, but it doesn't mean that the person who's very masculine doesn't have that ability. It's just something they don't need to do or feel the want to do. So that, I think that explains what I mean. So that's how I feel with my sexuality. Alright, let's go into the last section, which I just covered most of what the last section was going to be. But future topics I want to talk about. I just talked about masculinity versus femininity. That's something I think I can talk about in a video. I think I can talk about generally where I'm at on my trans identity, this middle step of like, what do I do next? I think that's something that some people talk about, but I think so many trans people jump to HRT very quickly compared to me. It's been, almost 2 years. That I think it might be helpful to have that middle step video. And then in terms of sexuality, I want to elaborate more on my ace flux identity, but I don't want to repeat myself, so I'm trying to explore routes on how I can do that. Still figuring that out. I thought about maybe having a video where I walk through how I analyze attraction for me. I don't know how helpful that'd be to other people because everyone experiences attraction differently, but I wonder if maybe some of the process or like the thinking path that I take would help people. So I'm playing with that idea. It might not happen. It might happen. Don't know. But I'm messing with it and seeing if there's any meat there that I can play with. And the last one would be, again, emphasizing the different types of attraction, but more so with a focus on how to break up how society makes these like steps when it comes to relationships. Just to explain very quickly without getting into it, usually society has like the bases or like, you date first, or not necessarily saying that all the society beliefs are date first or whatever, but I'm making a general statement on there's a lot of these very step structured things when it comes to relationships with people, even just friends. There's these steps that you take with friends. There's these like flat plateaus that you stop with friends, those kinds of things, those kinds of stereotypes. I kind of want to play with those a bit. I kind of want to talk about breaking them up and talk about how you can have a very diverse relationship with a friend or acquaintance or something like that, or you can have a different relationship, like a romantic relationship, than society typically paints a romantic relationship. So that's something I've been playing with talking about because it's something that I've been thinking about more and more and more recently, is how much I worried about that in the past and how much I've now embraced that I don't have to fit in any of those boxes that society makes, any of those steps. You don't have to follow the same pattern as everyone else. So I think those are my main ideas for videos to come. I don't get much feedback from my viewers about my video ideas, so I don't know which one is the best route to go. I know I get a lot of my audience from watching my ACE videos, so I think those topics may come up first, but I do want to do a trans update because that's kind of the one that takes up the majority of my attention in my life, just from my day-to-day. The ace identity stuff, it comes up, but it's not going anywhere because I'm not letting it go anywhere. So hopefully you understand what I mean there. But with all that said, 100% feel free to give feedback. Tell me what you're interested in, what you'd like to hear about. I do have the possibility of having a friend do a Zoom call and doing a video with them about their identities, because their identities are pretty different from mine. We have some of the same labels, but their experience is very different. So I think maybe we can invite them on and have them talk about their identity. Even though they're here in person, I'd rather do it as a Zoom call, because I don't want to film in public. That feels weird. So we'll probably do a Zoom call if that happens. But if that sounds interesting, feel free to say so. If it doesn't sound interesting, feel free to say so. I know I got a dislike on my last interview video, but no one posted a reason why. I'm here to learn. I'm here to figure out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, etc., etc. So feel free to leave feedback. And with all of that said, we have a 30-minute update video that was supposed to be 25 minutes. Whoops. Sorry. And I'm also sorry that it has taken this long to do an update, but hopefully I'll be seeing y'all again very soon. whenever I'm not tired from work. I hope you all have a good one, and I will see you all later sometime in Pride Month or the next month. Bye-bye.